Good afternoon, Facebook, YouTube, Dailymotion, and Twitter. This is Rich again, back for your second video blog of the day for Wednesday, February 18th, 2015, around 3:56 p.m. in Burlington, Massachusetts. Cloudy out, about 30 degrees, and some of the snow's melting. I saw today there was a lot of National Guard personnel all over the place removing snow, which is a good thing because we don't need so much snow around. There's some chance of it tomorrow and again on Sunday. Some news to report. The New York Knicks have shut down forward Carmelo Anthony for the rest of the year. He'll be having knee surgery. The Arizona Cardinals have re-signed wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald to a 2-year contract extension worth $22 million. And it's Happy National Drink Wine Day. And that's about it on that. My next subject is about the mbta bus 350 from alewife to alewife's T station in Cambridge, Massachusetts to North Burlington, Massachusetts via Arlington Center and Burlington Mall. The 350 bus is one of the most popular buses on the mbta circuit because it brings a lot of people to the Burlington Mall. It's sometimes jam-packed, especially on weekdays, weekends, and holiday seasons. Originally, the bus 350 was bus 700 that started at Park Square in Boston. Years ago, it started at Park Square, then it went over the Charles River by the Longfellow Bridge, onto Hampshire Street, and then onto Beacon Street in Somerville, and onto Park Street in Somerville, and then to Somerville Ave, and then straight down to Massachusetts Ave, and it would follow it all the way to Burlington. Eventually, the bus 700 got renamed 350 back in the early 80s, so they went down in half. And by May of 1985, the bus route was rerouted to Alewife T station, because from North Burlington to Park Street in Park Square in Boston, it was well over an hour, and this reduced it to about maybe 40 minutes or so. And bus 350 starts at Alewife T station, and it goes on to Alewife Brook Parkway, and it takes a left onto Massachusetts Ave. It's going into Arlington, goes down Massachusetts Ave for about a mile or so into Arlington Center. You could transfer to bus 77 or 79 going to Arlington Heights or Harvard Square, bus 80 to going to Lechmere, bus 87 to Lechmere via Somerville Ave, and it turns on to the right onto Chestnut Street, and Chestnut Street's Route 3 and Route 60 and Route 2A, and it continues on Chestnut Street, and it turns into Mystic Street, and it goes to Mystic Street into Arlington, and it goes by like the Mystic Lakes, and then it goes into Winchester. And then that becomes Cambridge Road in Winchester, and it follows the path. There's Mahoney's Garden Center, and some of the houses in Winchester are pretty good. You continue on, there's a Hess gas station and some condo buildings, housing development there. And then they go to the Winchester Elks, and there's a Cops dealership there, and it goes on to the Woburn line, where they have the shopping center, which includes Toys R Us and Whole Foods, which used to be a Star Market, and a Rite Aid and Papa Gino's. It goes into Woburn, and then it stops near the New England Rehab. It's a short walk from the mbta bus station, and it continues on into the Woburn Four Corners area, which there's a bus transfer, bus 354, which is just run on rush hours only, so you won't be getting too many buses for that. And that bus 54 goes to Woburn Center and then eventually onto I-93 to Boston. And you continue on Cambridge Road, you go by a church, and you continue on until you go onto the line, the Burlington line, which it becomes Cambridge Street. There was a Bickford's, Cafe Esquadrille, Herb Chambers car dealership, and then if you on the right, the Crossroads Plaza, which includes an Outback Steakhouse, a Roach Brothers, a Marshall's, CVS, Chuck E. Cheese, and a couple of other things. And sometimes the buses take a left that goes to the Wayside Common on rush hours, and sometimes during the early morning and night, the bus goes straight onto Route 3 and Route 3A, straight, bypasses the mall and goes to North Burlington. But most other routes go the straight on Wall Street, and then they go onto South Bedford Road, which would go under Route 128. At one time, the buses would go on Route 128 to the Middlesex Turnpike exit to Burlington Mall, but they reduced that because sometimes there's traffic on Route 128, and you don't want to have a bus on Route 28 for at least 15-20 minutes. And that bus continues on to like Mall Road, and it goes down Mall Road, and then a left at the very end, and that's the Burlington Mall. They go on to the Burlington Mall. They stop at Macy's. You could take a bus. You could get off and shop at the Burlington Mall, which a lot of people do. That's one of the most, probably the most destinations people take the bus 350 is to the Burlington Mall, or sometimes they pick you up. And also you could get off that bus, and you could hop on bus 14 if you're going to Bedford or Bellevue or Lowell. Bus 14, that's the Leahy Clinic, Burlington Mall, Boston, Lowell Kennedy Center. And then the bus continues to go right by the mall into the Middlesex Turnpike, and it goes straight onto Mall Road, goes up the hill. If it's going inbound, it takes the South Bedford Road, but if it's going outbound, it continues on Mall Road. It stops at the Leahy Clinic, and it gets off at the Mall Road. They take a left onto Cambridge Street, and they go down Cambridge Street in Burlington for about a mile or so. They stop by near the Burlington Library, right by the old Building 19, and it goes down further past Wynn Street. There's a Shaw supermarket on the left-hand side. If you go outbound, there's Papa Gino's. And it continues on as a Dunkin' Donuts, a Buck, no, that's a used bookstore, and the CVS continues on until you come to Chestnut Street, Wilmington Road. That's Route 62. The bus takes a ride, and then it takes a left. It's on to Chestnut Street, and the bus terminates on the corner of Chestnut and Cambridge Street, and it's about a 47-minute bus ride, give or take a few minutes because of traffic and other issues and stuff like that. And the cost of taking this bus is $1.60 if you have a Charlie card, and $2.10 if you don't have a Charlie card. Years ago, before when they had Charlie cards, this was a zone bus. That means there were two. If you travel to 3 different zones, you would have had to pay. I used to take this bus a lot. I remember at one time, if you took the 3 zones, it would cost $1. But eventually that went up to $1.25, and then the last time it was zoned, $1.55. And this bus is real popular. It's the only bus out of alewife that runs 7 days a week. Most of the other buses that run out of alewife are usually maybe rush hour only, or just weekday only, or there's one, the 6276, which is weekdays, they're separate routes, and Saturdays they're combined 6276. I'll get to that bus route another time, another day. I enjoyed this bus route a lot. It was kind of a scenic bus route through the countryside of Woburn and Burlington and Winchester and part of Arlington. When you get to Arlington Center, it's kind of a little more city-like. And the Arlington Center on Mass Ave, that's when sometimes a bus picks up most of its passengers, because sometimes they go to alewife, or sometimes they get confused because there's another bus route, bus 77, that runs to Harvard Square, but sometimes people might want to take the bus and go to alewife quicker and stuff like that. And I missed taking this bus a lot. When I used to go into Boston, I missed taking it a lot, but those things, I don't go into Boston anymore. And also, one little tidbit before I go about this bus. If you get off this bus at the corner of Cambridge and Chestnut Street, it hooks up with the LRTA bus 13, which is Billerica via Edison Cemetery. Years ago, originally that bus 13 LRTA stopped at 880 Plaza in Billerica, but they extended it to the Chestnut Street, Cambridge Street area, because many people wanted to use that to go for access to the Burlington Mall or to alewife, so they could avoid taking the commuter rail if you were in Lowell or Billerica or Chelmsford or whatever. And that was it for a few years, but in 1999, the LRTA had a bus 14 that goes to the Burlington Mall, so most of the people who want to go to the Burlington Mall who live in Lowell area always take bus 14. Bus 13 is in the LRTA is not as popular as bus 14. And that's about it on bus 350. One little tidbit, there's also a bus 352 that is an express bus that goes into Boston via Route 128 and 93, which terminates at Chestnut Street and Cambridge Street. So that's a little tidbit up on that. I just forgot about that. Well, I'll be back. Facebook friends, YouTube followers, Daily Motion, and Twitter. Third and final video blog of the night, which will be about Mr. USA Tony Atlas in my personality profile. Good day, Facebook, YouTube, Daily Motion, and Twitter. And want to put a rage on that, Richie? That's what Bruce Cronin used to say to me when I used to work at Hot Hanks with him. Bye now.